Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, across all platforms. This is the Gaming Tangents Podcast, the one and only podcast with 2 lives and no continues.
Da-da-da-da-da.
Ta-da, I'm trying something new.
Well, you
we'll
could always, with the intro we have and everything, you could just kind of like stop the music and just let that go in. Da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah. Maybe. Some people use crickets. We'll use the Super Mario Brothers 2 death music.
Yeah. So
maybe I can find that. I gotta find a file for that.
But the Mario 2 death music?
Yes.
I'm sure I have it here somewhere.
Oh yeah. Send that over.
I will once I find it.
Anyways, that's going out. All right. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Gaming Tangents Podcast, the official podcast. Yes, official podcast of the cross-platform show. The, as I always mention, soon-to-come YouTube channel. It will be out this year. I promise. It's coming.
Sometime this year.
We're working on it.
It took us long to get the podcast out.
Hey, but progress, right?
Progress.
We're all about progress. We're moving forward. Anyways, I'm Menji.
I'm Maverick.
How you doing?
It's been a crazy month, but I'm doing fine somehow. Somehow I'm still functioning.
That's how we get by.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's all you can ask for, right?
Pretty much. I took an impromptu trip to Las Vegas this past week, and it had to help out a friend. Pretty crazy. And part of the deal of going out there was that I wasn't going to use any of my PTO at work except for one day. Hence, I had to work yesterday and today. And that sucked.
Oh.
Yeah.
Were at least there hijinks that ensued?
I wish. I was like one of the only people there.
In Las Vegas?
Oh, in Las Vegas? No, there was really no hijinks. I didn't
wake up in a room with a loose tiger or anything like that.
Oh, Jesus Christ, no! That would have been the highlight of my trip. No, like I said, I helped out a friend, and so I didn't even stay on the Strip. I stayed at some hotel. It was a nice hotel. I mean, for what I paid for it, $37 a night, and the kind of hotel it was, Hotel Casino. It's called Texas. Was it Texas Station? There's like a series of them, but this particular one was called Texas Station. And excuse me. The rooms are nice and not the best looking hotel or whatnot, but I mean, for what I pay for it, I was fine with it. So I stayed at one of these hotels. Like fun. Yeah, I stayed at one of these hotels a couple of years ago, and it was called Palace Station, and an hour before I was supposed to go to the airport, I played the Wheel of Fortune machine because you go to Vegas, you play the Wheel of Fortune machine, and
we all do
exactly. You don't want to play it for anything other than the spin. Who cares about the jackpot or the grand prize? Everybody wants to spin. So I play it. I'm on my last 20 that I had saved for gambling purposes and whatnot. Sure enough, I hit 1,000. I get the wheel and I hit 1,000.
Oh!
And then right after my ticket printed, the power went out.
Wow.
Yeah, and so the power came back on, and it was a little bit.
But your ticket printed.
Yeah, my ticket printed.
Oh, that's good.
But it was a little chaotic because everything was kind of going back, and then I said, "Hey, look, I don't want to be a pest or anything, but I just won this, and I'm about to head to the airport." And they're like, "Well, come back tomorrow." And I'm like looking at him, I'm like, you didn't hear the part where I said I'm going to the airport. And he gave me I got my money, but I got a really bad attitude along with it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Las Vegas, the land of customer service.
Yeah, exactly. So, but that was a story from like 2011, so
yeah,
it wasn't.
Okay. I thought that was this trip.
Oh no! This trip I didn't win anything. I lost $100 on this trip. $100 I shouldn't have I shouldn't have gambled away anyway.
Clearly. Oh, okay.
Yeah, so funny. Really no gaming stories for me. I mean, really, if anything, I've been listening to... just finally replaced my iPod, which I lost back in November. And so I put all my music back on, and King of Fighters 13 pops up. And I've been having that on repeat for most of the day today because...
Really?
In my opinion, it is hands down one of the best video game soundtracks out there.
You know, I honestly haven't listened to the music all that much.
It's really good. It's actually one of the better KOF soundtracks. I wouldn't say it's the best one, but I'd say it's in the top 3.
Yeah, I think last time I got to play it, I had to turn the volume down because the kids were asleep and they were still pretty young.
Yeah.
Now I could pop it in, and I doubt they'd wake up. I don't think they're at that age now where they'll just sleep through anything.
I see. Excuse me. What about you?
What about me? What's been going on? Nothing really. I've been pretty much focusing on working around that little teaser image that I showed you. Teaser for everybody else as well. So doing everything around that. It's not just a picture. There's more to come.
Okay.
I see you on your phone, you know.
I know. I'm listening, though.
You're like, yeah, okay. Right, honey.
I'm sorry, what? No, I'm just kidding.
Yes. Just like that.
Yeah, no.
But no, aside from that, nothing much special. Just been playing the games that I have.
Your PC games?
My PC games.
You know, KOF.
On my Steam link.
You know, KOF 13 is on Steam. Although you have, didn't I get you KOF 13
yes, you
for
got
Christmas?
You got it for me. I have it.
Excuse me. Yeah.
No, it's just that last time I played it, I don't remember hearing the music.
Yeah, it's a pretty damn good soundtrack. Like, it's one of my favorites. It's like they go back to their roots without really going back to their roots.
Oh, well, that's good. I like the sound of that. Maybe next time I'll play with headphones on.
Yeah. No, it's a really good soundtrack. Even my son likes the soundtrack, and he doesn't play it much, but he's always asking me to play the Fatal Fury team theme. And I'm just sitting there like, yes, young Padawan.
It has begun.
Yeah, I will get you into these Neo Geo games.
You gotta.
Yeah. So
can't be related to the cross-platform and not being a Neo Geo.
Exactly. So, speaking of...
pretty much about the greatest news that I have for this week was that the old crew from Game Trailers, who I eulogized an episode or two ago, came back. They got back together. So they started a new crew on their own called Easy Allies. So if anybody wants to find them, it's actually just spelled out Easy Allies, like normal words, like we used to spell a long time ago before the internet came along.
Are you sure? Are you sure it's an E and then letter Z and then
it's not that. It's not that. Don't confuse people. It's just the two words, Easy Allies. They have a YouTube page. They're doing the Patreon thing to try and fund what they're doing. It sounds like they've already exceeded their base Patreon goal. So,
when you have a fan base like they did, I'm sure that they're gonna.
Yeah. No, I didn't know. Like I said, the way everybody was kind of shitting on them when they closed down, like I wasn't sure if they had much of a fan base left. Like I felt like I was one of the last few hanging on. But no, a lot of people are still supporting them. So it sounds like they're going to kind of try and continue on with a lot of the little shows that they were doing. I don't know if they're going to be able to do much reviewing anymore. I think that's going to cost a bit more.
Well, yeah, but they're going to start somewhere. I mean, you know.
Yeah. They said they're probably going to go back to reviewing at some point if they can fund it again because the reviews cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
But for the time being, they still got their show. So they've kicked off the podcast again, which is basically the GT Time podcast. Just now it's called the Easy Allies podcast.
Right.
But it's still the same group of guys. So if anybody's interested, look them up. They're on YouTube. They're on Patreon. Their podcast is on SoundCloud now, just like ours. I highly suggest it. Those are a good group of guys. I would love to meet them someday. If you're listening out there, Brandon, Kyle,
Nice.
anybody, Huber.
Well,
But yeah, that's been my good news for this week.
I see.
Has nothing to do with me.
Yeah, no, but good news in general.
Yeah. No, it's just happy to see that they're continuing on in some capacity.
Yeah, no, I don't have.
Again,
I don't have anything like gaming related. My biggest gaming news right now is that I broke I broke 10,000 on Pac-Man 256 finally. So, that's my biggest achievement for this week.
Wow.
Yeah. Hey, when you're stuck at the
points,
when you're stuck
points,
on
huh? Points, huh?
Yeah, points. Yeah, those
2016. We're talking about points.
Yeah, points are still relevant. So, I mean, come on. Can you imagine watching a football game and they're doing it for like experience?
Yeah,
it wouldn't work.
They're doing it for money.
Well, yeah. But who needs money?
Actually, no, I do have a gaming story this week. Actually, now that you mentioned it. No, it's nothing bad, but Sony just had like this big like across the board spring sale. Mm-hmm. And so one of the things that I never bought when I first got the PS3 that I finally got to buy was the Namco collection.
Nice.
Like a long time ago. Mm-hmm. And honestly, it was because my wife wanted it and it was only $1.50. She loves Galaga. So we had like family game night when I bought that. So for those of you who don't know, the Namco Museum comes with Pac-Man, Galaga, excuse me, Xevious, which is a game I never heard of, an HD remake of Xevious, Dig Dug, and Blue Dragon, I think it's called. It's like an overhead shooter with a two-headed blue dragon.
I don't know. I was thinking when you said Blue Dragon, I was thinking of that other Dragon Ball game on Xbox.
Oh no! These are all old like early '80s Namco games.
Yeah, I don't know what game that was. I remember Tower of Garuga.
No.
Okay.
But like my kids were wondering what's with all the numbers? Like why do all the enemies have numbers when you shoot them?
Wow.
Oh well, those are points.
What are those?
What do you do with the points? Nothing. Just try to get a lot of them.
You indulge in the fact that you earned them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, at the end here, I can put in letters that if somebody sees it and knows what my initials are, they'll know that was me.
Wait until they play Ninja Turtles and what you call it, Simpsons Arcade. It's like why am I getting 1 point for everything?
They didn't even care. Oh well, I mean we already played Turtles in Time. But
nice. Speaking of,
they weren't too worried about that.
Speaking of Ninja Turtles, okay, so where I'm living right now, not going to get into too much detail on it, but my living situation now is it's unique. But
we'll go with that.
So the family I'm living with, they have a Xbox, and everybody put their account on there. So I pull up my old Xbox account, and I was like, I wonder if I could watch if I could pull up all my old stuff here. Well, sure enough, Microsoft has finally made it easier for you to do that. And it says, would you like to license this game on this Xbox? You won't be able to do it on another Xbox, which is fine because I haven't had my Xbox for about a year now. So I was able to download games I forgot I even downloaded. Puzzle Fighter.
I almost picked that up because that was on sale too.
Yeah, I forgot I even had it. I had it on Xbox for some reason. What else did I have on there? A Fatal Fury Special.
Nice.
Mark of the Wolves.
Nice. Gotta roll. Mark of the Wolves.
The Street Fighter 2 HD, which we just talked about last week.
2 weeks ago. Oh, no, it was last week.
Yeah, I think it was last week.
It's both.
Yeah. And a bunch of other games, but one of the games I downloaded was the original Ninja Turtle arcade game, which I was so happy I could still download it. Because you can't download it, you can't purchase it anymore.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, but you can still download it if you own it. So I was like, oh, good. Now all I have to worry about is getting my own Xbox 360 again, so that I can put it on my own system.
Right.
Because I don't want to lose that game. I forget how fun that game is.
Boy, that's like the PT of that generation.
I know, right?
Good Lord.
So,
Konami.
Yeah, I mean, I found a whole bunch of games I forgot I had. There are other games on there, but those are the ones that stood out because those are the ones I was playing. I was like, oh, Puzzle Fighter, I'll play this. And then Mark of the Wolves was playing that. And then I finally understand why televisions have a game mode on there. Because...
Fighting games?
Any game. Really. Because,
specifically games that require Twitch factor.
Yeah, there was such a lag, and I'm like, why is there so much lag? And so I was looking through on my phone and everything, and I see set your television to game mode. Sure enough, I did that. Oh, Mega Man 9, that was another one. That was when I was noticing that there was so much lag because
Oh, wow.
I'm like,
right.
you know me and Mega Man, we're like this. And I wasn't able to control them, and I'm like, what the hell? So I finally set it, and boy, what a difference did that make. Wow. Like, I would hit left or right and then hit attack, and there'd be like 2-3 second delay before it happened. When I went to game mode, it was instantaneous.
Dang. Is it LCD TV?
Yeah.
That's why, yeah.
So it was just really weird. Excuse me.
Yeah. Yeah, my TV luckily is not that bad, but it's plasma.
Oh, really?
So the delay's not as bad. But it does have a game mode just in case you need it.
Nice. Yeah, I'm wondering what I'm going to do when I hook up my Super NES.
Oh, I don't even bother. I still have my old TV from my bedroom when I was in high school. Remember that TV?
Wow.
Yeah, I still have it. Still upstairs. It's still in my bedroom.
Wow.
That's the TV I have in my bedroom. But that's like, we still have a VCR because I still have a ton of like Disney movies and stuff.
Right.
For the kids that I don't care now that if they ruin them, because now I have them on DVD and Blu-ray. But I'm not going to get rid of all those movies.
Right.
Because a lot of them I still can't get on DVD or Blu-ray. So I still actually have the VCR hooked up there for all those tapes. The Super Nintendo's hooked up there. The Nintendo's up there.
Right.
So it's still coming in handy.
Yeah, I kind of wish I didn't get rid of all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's a good little TV. It's not that heavy either, so every time I move, it's not like a big pain to move it around.
Yeah.
It's not like this it's not like this TV in my living room, which I feel like I'm going to have to cover it in like 10 feet of bubble wrap because I'm so scared it's going to break.
Yeah, they, what you call it? Just playing all those old games on there just reminds me of, because I was like looking at the TVs like now, and I play some of the games on my virtual console.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, wow, I remember playing this on the actual systems and everything. And this kind of actually leads into my first topic, and both topics actually for this week.
All right.
It's a touchy subject. It's almost like an old versus new thing, and of course we're going to be in the old category. But I have a problem with Nintendo.
As long as I'm not the one in the robe in my underwear.
Yeah, that makes two of us. I'm not in it either. Anyway, I have a problem with Nintendo. Recently, these last couple of years, they've been making these really silly decisions, which some people have referred to it as an everybody wins type of deal.
Mm-hmm.
And I've mentioned this a couple of times before. New Super Mario Brothers for the Wii and the Wii U. if you die enough times in the game, you get these little... Oh, I'm trying to remember. In New Super Mario Brothers, you would play as Luigi, and it was kind of like a tutorial on how to get through the level. That made sense because you didn't actually pass the level even though you went through it with Luigi. It was just a little easier.
Right.
Okay? So there's that. And then, but then when, geez, I can't remember the order of with these games, so I'm just going to do it in the order of when I remember this happening.
Okay.
A new Super Mario Bros. Wii came out, and it kind of had the same thing, only instead of having Luigi guide you through the level, it gave you a golden P-Wing or something like that. Basically, it gave you a special power-up that not only gave you the ability to fly or glide or whatever through the whole level, but it also made you more or less invincible.
Just in case you needed that extra power.
Right. When my son was younger, he got through Super Mario 3D Land. And I was like, oh, cool. I'm glad you made it through there. And you know what I found out? That same feature was on that game.
Oh, boy.
And I'm like, really? I'm like, you should try it without... And see, I didn't know this was on here. I mean, it's video games, so, that's the least of my worries of him doing. But still, it's the principle. It's a matter of principle.
Stop cheating at games, son. You'll never amount to anything.
Pretty much. I was like, you gotta...
Cheat at games, cheat at life.
I'm like, you gotta try... I'm like, you gotta try this... You gotta try this without the cheats, Like, how are you gonna get through the level without, How do you think we got through the levels when we were younger,
There it is.
Exactly. Super Mario Bros. 3, God, and we didn't even have save states.
Back in my day.
And so I had a problem with that. He's gone.
And you got right down on your typewriter and wrote a letter to Nintendo.
Yes, that's exactly what I did. No, I just kind of tried to convince him not to do that.
Dear Regifisimus, I've got a few words for you, sir, in your so-called Super Mario Brothers game.
It's not even his decision. It's Shigeru Miyamoto's decision.
I know. It's the absurdity of the letter in the first place.
Right. So I'm taking issue with this, and I'm just like, okay, whatever. Apparently, this is worse in Kirby. Was it Canvas Curse? I haven't played the game, but I heard about this. Apparently, if you die enough times in the level, the sign will pop up that says, it literally says, "Do you want to skip this level?"
Wow.
And I'm like, really? That's your solution to the whole problem? So,
you're no good at this, but it's okay. You're giving it your best. Just try the next one.
Right. And so, I'm I'm a fan of Kirby, but I've never liked those the Canvas games, so I haven't bothered with that one.
Okay.
So now they just announced Star Fox Zero, which I believe comes out next month. Or the end of this month, I'm not sure.
I think you're right. Next month, yeah. April.
And there's... what is it called? An invincibility mode. Basically, you can go through the entire game without... You take damage, but you won't actually get damage.
Right.
So basically, you cheat your way through the whole game.
Right.
And, of course, everybody's up in arms about this, And, I am. I'm on that. I'm within that group. That why do we have this mode in here? But I get it. Times have changed and whatnot. But I still find it unnecessary because back in my day, we got through the games. Shit, the Star Fox was so hard. My God.
Right.
That was such a difficult game. Still, I think the best in the series. Don't shoot me. But yeah, still the best in the series.
I agree.
And, they've gone from that to pretty much handing you the game. And yeah, I know better. I'm not going to choose a mode like that and everything. I just think it's kind of... I think it kind of...
Pandering?
Yeah, it just sends the wrong message. Again, it's video games, so it's not really the most important thing in the world. You know what I mean?
Right.
But it's like you don't need these. You know, we don't need these features to hold our hand. And there's this one guy. Not gonna name names. Okay, I'm not here to start trouble.
No need to.
But I took issue with
commenting.
Yeah.
He commented on an article that you read about this new feature.
Well, it wasn't even a news article. It was just somebody's opinion. Okay.
That was an opinion blog?
It was just someone's on Facebook. I saw it on there. There was a news story. Someone's opinion on Facebook. But the whole thing behind it is that it's the idea.
Oh, but wasn't this person commenting on an article that they posted?
Yeah, they're commenting on an article they posted.
That's what I meant.
Yeah.
I'm just giving backstory to everybody listening.
And of course, I don't have the damn article here. I'm gonna have to look it up on my Facebook. But
it's fine. But it's basically describing that feature on Star Fox.
Right. It talks about the feature on Starbucks and everything. This guy, Starbucks.
And the article itself was fairly. The article itself was fairly
short.
It was short, and it didn't get into any kind of a discussion or an opinion of it. It just kind of described, here's the new feature.
Right.
There you go.
So I'm going to read this quote that this gentleman put on here, and why I have such a problem with it. Okay.
All right.
He starts out, I wouldn't use the function. This is hardly the first time that Nintendo has introduced a hand-holding mode. Go figure. Nintendo adds features meant for children new to gaming, said children being their largest potential market. Okay, I get that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then he goes, if you're up in arms about this, you're a self-entitled twat who thinks that the world revolves around you and your so-called skills when it comes to video games. Okay, this is where I start to have a problem.
Is that the whole thing?
No, there's more.
Oh, okay.
The only arguments I've seen against this, angry as they are back in the day we had to learn how to play games by dying repeatedly. We didn't need guidance, and if you're bad, you shouldn't get to see the same content or something. I don't get what that is, but I don't know how I feel about that second one, but that first one, yeah, this is exactly what we were just talking about.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, honestly, we don't know if there will be a completion bonus for those who do not use the feature. But based on the past games that use similar function, you can almost certainly bet there will be some form of recognition for beating the game without it. I just don't understand why quote-unquote hardcore gamers bitch so much about these features that literally have nothing to do with them. As long as it's an option and not something Nintendo is forcing on players, I think people need to chill. Now, I agree with some of the things this guy said, but I have a little problem with the self-entitled twat part. Okay? Because it's not about self-entitlement. It's not about that. I'm speaking, again, I'm going to repeat this throughout the entire podcast, or at least through this entire segment.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, it's just a video game. Okay?
It doesn't matter.
I'm aware of all that, okay? Now, that being said, as we all know, my son plays video games. He has gotten through a lot of these games using this mode, okay, since he was 4. He's 9 now, and he's still using them. That's the problem I have, okay? Because he's growing up thinking, oh, well, this mode will be available for me, so I shouldn't have a problem beating it.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, I give him shit about it when he uses it, and I said, come on, try doing it without it, you know. And I don't want to get up in arms over the game itself, you know, because again, at the end, it's just a game. But it's just kind of, to me, kind of giving him that idea that when you look at the broader picture, it's like, okay, when things get hard, here's a magic mushroom. Go have a field day. You know?
Yeah.
And it's like, no, no, that's not how it works. You know?
No.
And so that part where he says, you're a self-entitled twat who thinks the world revolves around you. No, that is not the case. Speaking as a dad who has a child who plays video games, I think it sends the wrong message to children. And yes, at the end of the day, it is just a video game. Okay? But when we had our easy modes, remember Contra? Remember, Konami was notorious for this, where they had a super easy mode. And not only would you not complete the entire game, some levels were skipped altogether.
Right.
That's how you do it.
You would almost definitely not get an ending. It would be, now try it on normal mode.
Exactly. Even Street Fighter, you played it at the lowest setting, you beat the game, it would say, congratulations, try a harder mode.
Right.
You know?
You did okay, I guess, but you wanna maybe put a little effort in next time?
Exactly. So
it might be a little long for a video game, but that's how I would do it.
So yeah, it's just that little line right there. And if there are other people who, you know, they've had the same mentality. It's just this is the most explicit I'd seen it. And that's why I take so much issue with it, because, you know, they're thinking that. Now, maybe some people are that way. Who knows? I don't know. I can only speak for myself. But I'm almost sure it goes beyond self-entitlement. You know?
Yeah, I don't even know if maybe that was the right choice of words to use. I'm sure this person was probably looking for something a bit closer to, like, elitist. Or something like that. That's probably more the word they were looking for, and they just couldn't find it. Right. I do that all the time on this show.
True.
Yeah.
So,
but I can... I can see both sides here. I can play devil's advocate and be like, I can understand a lot of people like have kids and they don't want these games to be too hard for their kids and their kids to just have fun, just like yours. But like you said, all of our games back in the day had the easy mode. So if it was too hard, we would try it on easy mode at first. That's how we got good at Street Fighter. Was at first playing it on easy mode, and then when we realized we got gypped out of an ending, then that made us want to play the harder mode so that we could actually see what the ending for the characters was.
Right. And you know, sorry, I know you're trying to make your point, but I just got to point out one other thing, okay? Just, you got to remember, on some games, Konami took it even a step further. Yeah, we're talking about Konami again, okay? The best example I can give is Batman Returns to the SNES. Okay?
Oh, yeah.
You beat the game, you got one portion of the ending. You beat it on the next mode, you got another portion of the ending. Basically, to get the entire ending, you had to finish the very hard mode in order to get the entire ending for the game. Like, you would not see the entire ending of the game unless you beat it in in very hard mode.
Right, yeah.
And I think another game like that was Contra 3. Was the same thing, yeah. Like, if you beat it on normal mode, because there's only 3 modes there, but if you beat it on, if you beat it on easy mode, you just get a swirling background that says, congratulations, but you got to try harder, The second one, you see them escape and everything, and that's cool. The third one, you see them actually landing in the city and all the people cheering for them.
Oh.
And I was like, oh, okay, so you get rewarded for all this,
Right. Yeah, a lot of what this seems like is just like the video game version of the participant trophy.
You think so?
Like, that's what it feels like. It's everybody's a winner kind of a thing. Like, I can see people's point. I can even see where Nintendo's coming from, because their whole stance for the last, what is it now? God, 10, 15 years now, has been to try and get everybody to play games. And a lot of people's arguments for not playing games back in our day was that they were too hard or that they were too complicated. And those arguments have honestly just gotten worse as technology's progressed and controllers have gained more buttons. They are pretty hard. I was trying to show my wife Portal the other day, which, while it is, yes, a first-person shooter, or while it is, yes, just a first-person puzzle game, it is still a first-person shooter at its core. You're still using the double sticks and the shoulder pads and the buttons all at the same time. And it was too much for her. Like, she was getting frustrated. She was not having a good time.
Right.
Playing that, and I was like, oh, this should be a good starter game to kind of get her. Let's see how she does with this, because it's not like there's any tension. There's no imminent death if you don't hurry up and move. But no, she wasn't having any fun. And this was like the first couple of levels of the first Portal. Like, she was like, I don't want to play this anymore. Here, you do it.
Well,
I was like, oh, okay.
I haven't played Portal, so I couldn't say. Me personally, I'm not into a lot of these newer games. I'm trying, but it's just like...
Yeah. Well, what I'm saying is that games are intimidating for people that didn't grow up with it.
Right.
Like, for us, I mean, Nintendo was just, a D-pad and 2 buttons. But for some people, it was still, like, a lot to handle. These are the people that, would move with the controller as they're trying to move the character as if their body motion was going to help.
No, that's what the Wii is for.
Right? And see where that got us. Boom blocks.
Woo, boom blocks.
Shots fired.
Yeah. The three game deal, and 2 of them were boom blocks. Thanks, Spielberg.
Yeah, and so I think Nintendo's just trying. They're basically putting a lot more emphasis on easy mode and letting people know that there is an easy mode, and I think this is their way of doing it.
Right, I get that, but why not just do it like they did in the old days? That's
the thing. I don't think that's being handled well.
Exactly.
At all. I don't believe in participating trophies.
To put it in a game like Kirby, I mean, the Kirby games aren't exactly the hardest games known to man. I mean, I fly through all those Kirby games.
Right.
The thing that makes Kirby fun is, I know you don't play them very much, but I play them religiously, and what makes Kirby fun is finding all the secrets. Because I still haven't finished, and finding all the secrets in the game actually earns you the true endings in most of those games, at least the ones I've played.
This sounds so hard.
I know, right?
Can I just get all the secrets?
They'll probably give them to you. It's like,
just give them to me. Give me the secrets.
That'll probably be DLC, which has been done in other games.
It's the Kirby Season Pass. Receive all secrets.
Exactly.
It's just buy the ending. Like, that's where we're moving to there.
Yeah, no.
$5 by the end of the game.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 13 too. Yeah.
Good Lord.
So it's just ridiculous. I mean, I see what the guy's trying to say, but I mean, he doesn't have to be such a douche about it. That's
it's the internet.
Yeah, I know, and I mean, I'm complaining about somebody did on the internet. Wow, it's just more of a case is that it goes beyond self-entitlement. If you understood how these games were back then, I am more, if you're going to make an easy mode, make incentives for it, just like they did with the older games, like the Konami examples I just said.
Right. Yeah. This is like it's one of those typical cases of backlash against backlash, which is something you typically see a lot in politics. Where it's like,
let's not get started on that.
One group is opposed to some idea, and so the other side of the group just kind of makes up reasons for why they think the other side of the group is opposed to that idea.
Right.
And then they're just fighting against all these non-existent things.
Really?
Rather than coming to an agreement, they're just fighting over why they don't like something.
Pretty much.
That's what this kind of seems like, where it's because like there's valid points on both sides. There's valid points for us, thinking that the challenge should not be taken out, whether you want to give people an easier way to get to the end of the game. Sure, that's fine. That's always been in video games. but make some incentive for somebody to get better at it. That's what I think is lacking in these Nintendo games.
Right, and Nintendo hasn't been one to do something like that. As far back as I can remember, Nintendo hasn't really done normal, easy, difficult mode. They've kind of done their own way. The only one
They've never really had to do. Yeah, it's always just kind of been a game,
exactly, and
like it or not.
And the
unless
only
you're
thing
American, and then we'll make it easier.
Yeah, Mega Man 2. The only thing I can remember being remotely close to that is what's it called? The original Star Fox. It had 3 different paths. And essentially, the main path was easy, the second path was hard, and the third path was difficult. You know, but it was interesting going through all 3 because they were all 3 different experiences at the same time.
Yeah. And it wasn't so easily spelled out to you. And then you can also travel between the different paths.
Right.
If you found the warp zones.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that was definitely one way of handling it, but still not even quite the same thing. Like, nobody would know if you just went straight. That's the easier version.
Right.
They all look equally hard.
Yeah, well, I always like going through the second route because I always like going through the last level of Route 2 because I always love the music for that level.
Oh, man, I don't know if I ever made it that far.
That was the day, that was before easy access to a soundtrack was possible. So
right. We had to record our own playthroughs.
Exactly.
Just for music.
But when I couldn't do it, I would go through Route 2 just because I love the music for the freeway in the last level. So, because that's the only way you're going to be able to hear. Because I actually don't like the Venom music so much. So
music's always a good reason to do anything in video games.
Right, exactly. And I'm not saying that the Venom music's bad. It's just not my favorite. So no, Nintendo's been making all sorts of weird decisions lately. Yes, that brings me to my next topic.
Move on, let's do it.
And you may have noticed at the beginning of each of our podcasts, I have not mentioned Mario Maker much. You may also remember that I mentioned...
Well, as we've gotten quieter with Mario Maker, a lot of other people are started to talk about it.
Exactly. You may remember I mentioned that my levels got deleted.
Yes.
Apparently, I'm starting to think that the levels that I had that were deleted weren't within the 30-day period that they said you had to delete them. Which, I think about it and like it's true. Because I had eight levels disappear. 8 freaking levels.
That's pretty much your whole game, wasn't it?
It was a good chunk of World 2 and World 3. So
let me get one thing straight. Can you save stages that you make locally on that game?
Yeah, I still have them. It's just
okay. But
this is the part that pisses me off. You can't even make modifications and re-upload them to back to Nintendo servers. It won't let you. So,
that's insane.
So you have to rebuild the entire level from scratch. Now, apparently, the issue right now is that Nintendo is deleting people's levels without any kind of notification as to why. People have built levels, they've put them up in, within a couple of hours, and they're gone.
Wow.
Hours of hard work just gone. And you can't re-upload them.
Wow. Boy, so my YouTube joke back then is actually starting to apply a bit more and more.
I know, right?
As the story unfolds.
It's ridiculous. There's this one particular guy. What was his name? Grand Pooh
Sure. So Grand Poobah is an actual thing, so maybe that's it.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly what his name was, but he had all his levels deleted.
Dang.
Okay. I have not come across any of his levels, so I don't know. I had just heard about it, and I'm interested in seeing them now because apparently he was a YouTube streamer putting all these levels on there. Not only did he lose all those levels, but along with that, he lost all the stars that he earned with that, because the way the game works is that you start out with 10 stars. That gives you approximately 10 levels that you can upload. Once you earn a certain amount of stars, you're given more levels you can upload. So me personally, I have 100 stars right now. I think at 50, I think it was, that it allowed me to upload up to 20 levels total. So this guy, he had quite a bit of stars under his belt. All gone.
Wow, so
gone.
if you lose all your stars, can you no longer upload any levels ever?
It's not that you can't lose on it. You can't do it. He's just back down to the basic 10.
Okay.
That he can upload, but he had more than that. And
I thought there was like there had to be a star to level ratio. Like if you had 1 star, you can upload 1 level, and so on.
It's kind of like that, but it's more than that. Like you have no stars. You start out with 10 levels you can upload.
Okay. And you have you have to gain 11 stars in order to upload more.
Well, you have to gain like 50 to be able to do another 10 or something. I know that.
Good lord.
Wait, you know what? Maybe it started with 5. I don't remember. It's been a while since I.
Anyways.
Started from scratch, but there is a ratio. I just don't know what it is.
Okay.
I haven't figured it out because I thought when I hit 100 stars I was going to be able to upload more levels, and that hasn't happened yet.
Oh boy!
The funny thing. Sorry, okay, I'm kind of going off topic with this, but
Are you tangenting?
Yeah, I'm going into a tangent, but it's about the same. It's the same game. The funny thing is that my most popular levels is a remake of World 1-1 that I made called Everything You Know Is Wrong, named after the Weird Al song. So it's World 1-1, but it's just everything's messed up. You hit a box and like a bunch of booze will come out or something like that.
Okay. All right.
And then I made one of the, you go to the underground pipe and then there's the coins and everything like that. Well, I have a secret block in there. You can actually go through World 1-2 at the bottom there. I just all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
And that happens to be my most popular level. The funny thing was that was my test level. And so the only other one I have is one called Bowser's Moving Castle, which again was another test level, and I was testing the Super Mario 3 courses. And for whatever, it's not even my best level, and everybody seems to love it. It's like those are the 2 I want to take down and rework.
Oh jeez.
So yeah. Anyway, going back to it. I had made original levels and like my entire first world, because you can do sets of world. I mean, you could do whatever you want. I could make World 120 if I wanted to, but I was trying to do the traditional 4-level worlds.
Right.
So I have World 1, I have World 2, and then that's where things started disappearing. I had like a factory level, which now looking back on it wasn't the greatest. I'm like, yeah, I could probably improve on this. So I went back to try to make the changes, and then when I tried to upload the changes, it said this level can no longer be uploaded. Ugh. So pissed off. Because
that's the thing I find weird.
Yeah, it's you put so much effort into it, and it's like, okay, I get it, Nintendo. You want us to make a few changes. I can do that. I don't want to rebuild the whole thing from scratch.
Right. Has Nintendo made any statements about this stuff?
No, they haven't. And this guy, as far as I know, as of the recording tonight, I've not seen them make a statement about this. This guy had a video of him calling Nintendo customer service, and the lady's trying to do what she can to help, but I mean, she doesn't, she can't do anything about the servers.
Right, yeah, she doesn't know.
Right.
She has no idea.
And, I get the frustration. So, I don't know.
I can help you find the whirlwind in Castlevania 2.
Right. But no, he, I felt really bad for this guy because I know how much time it takes to put into these, and I don't have the best levels out there. I try to put up what I think I'm satisfied with, but some of these levels, my God, these people are so creative. Like, I'm surprised Nintendo hasn't. I'm surprised this isn't a conspiracy for Nintendo to like find the best ones. It'd be like that episode of Clerks, they find the best ones, and then they take all the best people and them have them work in a temple or something.
Which in itself was a spoof of Last Starfighter.
Exactly. Which I've not seen. So, you know, I'm just it's disappointing because Nintendo's.
It's funny. I've never heard of any kind of like a level quality control type thing in any of the Little Big Planet games or any of the other build your own level games.
Right.
So I find this kind of weird. Like, why do they feel the need to delete levels at all?
Well, you know, okay, some of I see the point on some of them because when my son and I were playing. The game has this feature called 10 Mario mode and 100 Mario mode. Uh-huh. And basically what this does is it's like one world you go through. And it can have up 4 levels, 8 levels, 16 levels. It depends on how you play it.
Okay.
And so what it does is that the levels are are based on what the players have made. So if it's like going to be, if you're going to do the 10 Mario mode, which I think is like an easy mode, it'll pick the easiest levels that people have gone through. All right.
Okay.
Some of these levels consist no more than just running from start literally to the finish in about 5 seconds. And
wow.
Yeah. Clearly a little kid made it, you know? So it's understandable. But, you know, so they want to filter that kind of stuff out. But see, the system that they had in place is supposed to be, you have it in here for X amount of days. If it doesn't get enough stars, then your level gets kaput.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah.
And I don't know if the system's broken or if they were in over their heads or what, but instead they're getting rid of all these other levels that people have worked on, you know, because then what it does is that the levels are randomly generated, and I actually just found out that some of mine have gotten into expert mode, which I'm actually really surprised about.
So you can't just choose stages?
You can't do well, I mean, there's some pre-built stages that they have in there, but like this is if you want to play the 100 Mario mode or something like that. You can play this game any way you want. But
okay, so you can just pick other people's stages just to play?
Yeah, you can look that way.
Okay.
Yeah, there's several different ways to do it. But see, these modes here, they earn you, because if you don't have amiibos, because the game has amiibo compatibility. And if you set the game up in like Super Mario Brothers mode, you get a costume Mario, basically. And so he will become whatever character you set to that mushroom. So like it's actually pretty funny. You can actually put Sonic in the game. And when Mario gets the mushroom, you know, it'll be a mushroom with a question mark on it, and then all of a sudden you'll hear Sonic the Hedgehog sound effects, and you'll be playing a Sonic, 8-bit Sonic from the Game Gear games.
Oh, clever.
Yeah, so it just really all depends. So if you don't have the amiibos, this mode that you're playing through, like the 100 Mario mode and whatnot, these are other ways to unlock those characters. So
okay.
So each mode you play, like I think I don't know how it's generated, but like the harder you get like the more obscure characters, I guess. I'm not really sure. But whatever way you play it, you know, the levels, if you play through 100 Mario mode or whatnot, then they're the levels are generated based on difficulty, and so you do expert mode, and you get some people's levels that you're just like, what sadistic, you know, torturous background do you come from to make this kind of level? Because the other thing you got to question about this is the funny thing, is how did these people get through their own level? Because you have to get through your own level in order for the game to upload.
Wow.
And some of these levels, I'm just like, how the hell do you do this?
Some people are just insane. Although, is there Is there anything to keep them from like putting in like a secret to getting through that only they would know, so that they wouldn't have to go through the level?
Sometimes there is. But I mean, if it's open to them, it's going to be open to, it's going to be open to the player too. There was one that I saw. Actually, MatPat was doing a live stream a couple of months ago, and I guess he was playing with his wife, and he was on an airship level, and they were trying to get through this level, and they were having the hardest time. And then all of a sudden, his wife notices there is a door at the corner of the screen. If you just wait for the, because it's an airship, so it'll bob up and down and everything. They're like, okay, so you jump up on the door, it takes you directly to the exit.
See, that's what I mean.
Yeah. So it just really depends. But I mean, not all levels are like that. I mean, some of these people, like, they have, you hear the levels that annoy the piss out of me when I go on that game. These near impossible levels that they expect us to pass, and then auto levels. They're cool, but they annoy me because...
What's an auto level?
An auto level is where you do not touch the controller, and they have the game set up to where Mario will automatically go through the course, through impressive ways, not get hurt, and automatically make it to the end.
What's the point of those?
Just to show off talent. My son wants to make those, and I'm like, okay, go for it. But I don't have the patience for that because there's so much trial and error. They're neat. They're neat. Don't get me wrong. It's just too time consuming for something like that.
So you're basically just watching somebody else play?
Not even watching somebody else play. You're just letting it's kind of like letting nature take its course. Like, okay, Mario will.
Well, it's playing a replay of whatever the person that made the level did to get through.
No, what it is like, okay, let's say for example, I'm trying to think of a good example here. So they'll have Mario start out where he'll be right next to a what do they call it? Bulldozer, Bill Blaster, the thing that shoots bullet bills. Okay. So you can put other items in there. It doesn't have to be a bullet bill.
Right.
You can put the spring on there. So they'll have it so that the spring will shoot out and knock Mario, and make him automatically bounce off of it, and it'll set off a chain reaction of different things that he'll end up doing.
Oh, okay. I'm following now.
Yeah. And again, they're impressive. I like that they're there. I just don't like that sometimes these worlds, that's all they consist of. Literally, one time I was playing the game, 3 of these levels in a row. I'm like, okay, there is absolutely no challenge to this.
Right, yeah, you just watch Mario bounce around.
Right, and so, Nintendo, they want to filter levels that are not worthy per se, I guess you could say. They're all based on what the stars you get, but because these levels are so popular, they're always starred, and they're the ones that end up getting picked the most. Now, I haven't played it in a while because I got really tired of seeing that, so it may have changed since then. I don't even bother with that mode anymore. I'm just like, okay, well, I got most of the amiibos here. I'll just go ahead and scan them into the game.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that's my...
To me, it sounds like a lot of the problem was that Nintendo kind of based the progression on the game on having to go through other people's levels.
Right.
And so if their levels don't assist with you progressing the game, and you can't progress and get all the little secrets and stuff.
Right.
And so I guess that's kind of where they've kind of wrote themselves into a corner, programming-wise.
I'm going to assume, though. I mean,
yeah.
There are other ways to, like, promote your thing. Like, I have to put in, hey, if you like this world, download my other games,
Oh, no, but I mean, like, that whole thing about getting, like, costumes and other pieces to use.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it sounds like that's all dependent on you playing other people's stages, and if their stages don't have the ability to give you that stuff.
Well, the thing is, that's the tedious part. See, you have to... You get one amiibo per completion. It's not per level. It's per completion of the mode. So, like, you do expert mode, you somehow get through all 16 of these levels, and then you're rewarded with a costume. So, yeah. It's pretty bad.
Yeah. I don't know. It's weird. Nintendo should just kind of come out and just explain what they expect of Mario Maker and what people should be doing so that they don't get deleted anymore.
Right, because I mean, it is a fun game. If you like building levels like that, I mean, it is fun. Don't get me wrong. I love building this level. I mean, the only game that I liked more than this was Mega Man Powered Up, and I don't even know if those servers are still up anymore. But
so I guess they haven't done a good job of explaining what the actual rules are as far as building levels is.
On Super Mario?
For Super Mario Maker, it just sounds like they haven't explained what the rules actually are. Apparently, there's other rules that nobody knows.
Well, there's not.
Now everybody's levels are getting deleted.
There's not necessarily like rules per se. I mean, like you can't put anything vulgar or whatnot. But it's all based on. That was the one thing that I read that was when I first started playing this game is that you have 30 days to earn this many stars before your level's deleted. I don't see that happening. I just see these random levels being deleted.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what's up with that.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. That's weird.
So, yeah, that's my Nintendo rant for the day. Star Fox and Mario Maker.
Nintendo Rantathon.
Yeah, pretty much. So
maybe I'll just name it Nintendo Rant number 1 because I'm sure there'll be more.
There will probably be more, but
knowing Nintendo.
Well, let's see what happens when the NX gets announced.
Yeah, it sounds like we'll be hearing something.
Yeah, well, you heard that rumor this week, right? That they're going to cease production on the Wii U's.
Right. Yeah.
Which is
it a rumor? But didn't they? That was printed in a Japanese newspaper, wasn't it?
Yeah, but they say Nintendo's denying the rumors. I don't know really who to believe, but it's really too bad because the system had a lot of potential, and I don't remember if we've covered this or not. But having worked in retail, I can tell you firsthand. Naming it the Wii U was the biggest mistake they could have made.
They made a few as far as the actual design and marketing of the system, but yeah, that was definitely one of them. Making it look exactly like a Wii was also another big problem. Yeah,
the fact that because having worked in retail, having worked for the Giraffe, they
who could that be?
Yeah, exactly. I had so many customers come in confused over what the system was because Nintendo did not market it well and they did not name it. They could have named it Revolution or whatever it is that they wanted to name it beforehand. So there's problem number 1 because everybody thought that it was the same thing as the Wii. Well, I already have a Wii. Why do I want this?
Right, exactly.
Their second problem is they didn't give enough explanation as to what the controller did because you would not believe how many people bought the system based on the assumption that it was a portable system. Yeah. And I was just like, no, that's not the case whatsoever.
And now given the rumors of what the NX is going to be, that's going to make things even more confusing.
It would, except the thing is they got to market it better.
Yes.
I like the concept from what I'm hearing. I haven't heard too much on it, but my understanding is it's supposed to be a home-based console plus a portable console.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. So I like that concept. I think that this is probably going to kill any further backward compatibility with the 3DS, DS, etc.
Right.
I could see games being used for it, but I think that its primary function is going to be completely different. And then, what was the other point I was going to make? I can't remember the other point I was going to make, but essentially, if they're going to go with this portable and then console idea, I like the direction it's going, but they just got to market it well. And NX is the current code name.
Yeah, who knows what they're going to call it
for not sticking with the names. Because remember Ultra 64.
The Ultra 64.
Yeah, Nintendo 64. GameCube was what? Was that
was that the Dolphin?
The Dolphin, yeah. The Wii, it was Revolution. So, and then I don't even know if the Wii U had a name. You know. The thing is that
I don't think it did.
Yeah, I don't think it had like a code name or anything like that.
No,
but
at least not that was known.
Yeah, I'm not gonna sit here and say that clearly I own a Wii U. I own the game. We were just talking about one of the games I own. It's not a bad system. The problem is that there's not enough support on the system.
And it's one of the biggest problems they've always been having. That was one of the things they hammered home in that initial E3 reveal for the Wii U, was like, look at all our third-party support. And I remember they put up the big list of all the different companies that were going to be supporting them with games.
Yeah, but
like a year later, like a third of those companies dropped out.
And there's a reason for that, because I know you only went up to a Wii, right, before you stopped getting the Nintendos.
For Nintendo?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are problems in its own, because as we know, the Wii wasn't much more powerful than the GameCube.
Right.
You know, so it was hardly a next-gen console when compared to PlayStation 3 and Xbox.
Right.
And then Wii U came out. They still stayed backwards, and we're like, okay, we're going to have this up to par with PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360. It's like, well, you know that PlayStation 4...
They're coming out with two other systems?
Yeah. It's like PlayStation 4 and Xbox One were
the news?
Just around the corner.
Guys, maybe you should read a newspaper. Here.
What?
We're also ceasing production.
Oh. Okay, I thought you were talking to your wife.
No, I'm in character.
Oh, okay.
In character, dang it.
Okay, gotcha.
Acting. Thank you.
It's called acting, children. Anyway, so yeah, they're like, and so what I'm hoping is that with the NX, because there's so many different rumors I'm hearing right now, I'm really hoping they're smart, and not only are they going to be up to par with PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, but that it's beyond that. Because
they need to surpass them at this point.
Exactly.
In something. If not, it doesn't need to be graphical capability, because, hell, the PS4 and Xbox One don't even look that much better than the PS3 and the 360.
Oh, that's a story in itself. Did you hear about that?
What?
That apparently there's a PlayStation 4.5 in the works.
Oh, yeah, I did hear about that.
Yeah, that's a story in itself. But let's stick to Nintendo for now. I really hope that, because Nintendo, see, what Nintendo has going for them is their first party titles. If it weren't for their first party titles, they'd be dead already. Yeah, they'd be dead in the water. I mean, I'm sorry, Sega, while they had a bunch of good games, I mean, Sonic wasn't enough to carry them, because they also don't know how to use their properties properly.
All their really good games were typically all like the cult favorites. Like, they all had cult followings, but never any mainstream following.
Exactly. Nintendo has a lot going for them. I mean, they look at all the franchises they have: Mario, Zelda, Metroid.
They're pretty much the only company whose main characters are pretty much known by everybody, even people who don't play video games.
Exactly. And so, Star Fox, Kirby. I mean, so many characters. Splatoon, which was a surprise hit according to some people. I have not played it myself, but I hear it's really good.
Yeah. Nothing but good things I've heard.
They have all these franchises that are going for them. I don't have a big library of Wii U games, but I definitely enjoy the ones that I have. I mean, I have Mario Kart. There's a lot of Mario-based games. Mario 3D World, which you know how I feel about 3D Mario games, Right. But I enjoyed this one.
Yeah.
So
but at the same time, you're proving your point. All they've got is their first-party games.
Exactly, and that's the problem. And then this is where I don't know how to feel, because I can understand where some of the third parties are coming from, but then again, I can't. I'm trying to remember.
They got to stay where the money is right now.
Right, exactly, and I get that. In this case, I kind of I have to look at the crowd, because the Wii U did have Call of Duty Ghosts, and they had another Call of Duty game. I think Black Ops 2.
Yeah, but going back to our conversation last week, Call of Duty is one of those games where people are all about them graphics.
Exactly, and
Wii U is not going to cut it there.
It was supposed to be up to par with that one, because those were last gen games to begin with. Problem is that it wasn't so much the graphics on that sense. It was because Nintendo still has a reputation of being a family friendly system. So. People are like, Call of Duty on Nintendo, I don't want that,
Yeah, they probably did something to it. I don't want it.
Yeah, exactly.
And nobody's going to play, at this point, it's been so long, nobody's going to play a Call of Duty on a Nintendo system. The only way you could kind of get that demographic back on Nintendo is for Nintendo to have an exclusive game.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's the only way you're ever going to get people off the PS3 Xboxes or the PCs for that matter for games like that, like the quote unquote like hardcore first person shooters or just them hardcore games in general. That's the only way you get people back on Nintendo for that stuff.
There you go. You hear us, Nintendo? Make a Call of Duty game, and you know what? What have you got to lose? Put Samus in it. Hey. Put Samus in Call of Duty. We make her exclusive.
They could. No, but I mean, as far as a third party company would have to be willing to put a game like that out on just Nintendo exclusively, and I don't think anybody's willing to take that chance right now because it hasn't really worked out for a lot of companies.
No,
look at Epic Mickey.
Oh, yeah, Epic Mickey. Jesus Christ. Okay. Yeah,
it's not working out. It's so funny just to think, because when we were younger, everything was on Nintendo.
Right, exactly.
Everything of all types of games, they were all on Nintendo. And now we've gotten to this point where it's like every E3, we're not waiting to see what exciting stuff Nintendo has to announce, more so than we're waiting to see what kind of weird decisions they're going to make so we can laugh at them the next day.
Yeah, but
like they've gone from being our parents to being like that weird uncle who's like really funny, but nobody wants to associate with him at the party.
Right. And I mean, okay, with the exception of the handheld market, I mean, they pretty much dominate,
right?
But you have to admit that, I mean, and I know you weren't crazy about Final Fantasy VII, but you gotta admit that that's where they made their mistake with the Nintendo. Nintendo fell apart the moment they lost Final Fantasy VII.
Yeah, well, that didn't help for sure.
Because I mean, that was one of the biggest franchises on the SNES, and at the time, yeah. I mean, I hear that Final Fantasy, well, depending on how you number them here, but I'm going to go by Japanese. Final Fantasy IV and Final Fantasy VI didn't sell as well over here as they did in Japan. Okay, fine.
Well, yeah, they weren't going to. Back then there was no market for them yet.
Right. And then Final Fantasy VII, when that came out, of course, you and I were already big into it, and I think even you were excited about Final Fantasy VII until you saw the direction it went in.
Right.
And
but nobody knew how big that game was going to hit.
Well, yeah.
Nobody could have expected that.
Final Fantasy VII, going back to Final Fantasy VII and its own topic, I'm sorry, but
why we always keep coming back to this damn game.
Yeah, but guys, yes, Final Fantasy VII was the first 3D game, and it's not a bad game by any means, but take a look at some of the older games, because it wouldn't be around if that game wouldn't have been around if it weren't for these other games.
I'm not backpedaling. I don't like it.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm sorry.
Take it all you want.
It's like, oh my god, why do the characters look so blocky?
Oh, God.
It's like, yeah.
I don't want to get into it. Anyways.
Anyway, going back to it, that's where they started showing their stubbornness. It's like, well, we're on top of the world and blah blah blah, And the worst, I think the funniest thing about all this, and I don't know how much you know about the history of all this, but it's kind of a deja vu with Nintendo. See, I mean, you know the whole story with Nintendo and Sony working on the CD-ROM and everything like that.
Famicom CD. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know about that, but did you know that Atari was supposed to publish the Nintendo originally?
Yes.
Yeah, I
did hear that.
Didn't know that for the longest time. I just recently found out a few years ago. And there was almost a similar thing where like they decided they weren't going to do it, or they did something behind their backs, and Nintendo had to publish it themselves.
Yeah,
you know,
it must have sucked for them.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh wait.
So I don't know.
Thank God Atari's still on top of the world.
Oh yeah, very. It's just, my problem is that Nintendo, hopefully this new president, I mean, don't get me wrong, I liked Satoru Iwata. He was very charismatic, and I think he did have a really big influence on the company and whatnot, but
he did a lot to turn it around, because after the N64, which I was not into at all.
Oh, neither was I.
Like it took a lot to get me to get a Wii.
Right. Well,
and so they did.
I was about to say, but you also got a GameCube, but I forgot we got it for you.
You did, because I wasn't going to buy it. I was like, no, I don't.
Right. Well,
I'm glad I have it. Those games are still over here under my TV. Like, I'm glad I have it.
Right.
But I wasn't going to buy one. Like, I was not interested anymore. And it's just like you said, right there at the Super Nintendo N64 crossroads, there was just this weird paradigm shift in the way Nintendo did things and the kind of games they put out. And it lost that feeling for me. Yeah, growing up as somebody who started off with the original Nintendo, remembering when it came out.
Right.
Because again, like I've said before, I know a lot of people younger than me, the N64 was their first system. They have really fond memories of that system. But I don't. I look back on it and it's like, what is this ugly purple thing?
Yeah, I wasn't into it either. My sister, I've gone into this story. My sister was the one who got the N64, and she got it mainly because she wanted Legend of Zelda. Yeah, which is fine, you know.
Which is fine. I have it.
It's still not my favorite Zelda. Overrated. Yeah, you can send hate mail later.
Never finished it. I have it. I never finished it though.
Right.
Came with my GameCube.
Yeah, I couldn't get past the Deku Tree. I was just like, no, I don't like the way this game plays. But either way.
But yeah, everything just kind of changed. I mean, that whole generation for everybody was weird.
Well, yeah, and I'm not going to sit here and say that the N64 didn't have games I didn't like, you know? I mean...
No, I don't think anybody would ever say that about any system ever. Every system's got at least one game, a couple games that are usually pretty good. Whether or not it's enough to make you buy the console or not is a whole different story, though.
Well, yeah, you know, I wanted to get a 3DO for Plumbers Don't Wear Tie, you know, but I'm just kidding.
3DO had some good games. I don't knock it. 3DO had some good games. I had some fun playing with my buddies. I had a buddy that had a 3DO. And we actually had some fun playing some games.
I did not know this. The only games I knew that were worth playing on that system was Super Street Fighter 2 and Samurai Showdown.
I didn't even play those. No, these are other games.
Interesting.
Every system has them.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, every system's gonna have one. I mean, for me, I had a...
Doesn't mean that system's for you, though.
Right. The only reason I even played... Like, I played Resident Evil 2 on N64, and I've brought this up several times, but it's a really impressive port of the game, because with everything they squeeze in there, like, the CG scenes suck, but just the fact that they were able to even get them in there, you know...
Yeah, was on a cartridge, no less.
Yeah, that was a big feat in itself. And so what they did, and this was the other reason I played it, you know, because remember, back in the day, I used to compare every version of every game. Back when that was...
Oh, you don't anymore?
No, not really. Because they're all the same for the most part. But Resident Evil 2 for the Nintendo 64 had extra files, which kind of... For anyone who got Resident Evil 2 and hadn't played the first or the third game, it tied those games together, pretty much.
Oh, neat.
So some of the files were interesting, and then some of the others were like, Oh, okay. They took dialogue word for word from Resident Evil 3. Interesting. So I'm like reading this level. I was like reading this in my mind, and there was one. I don't know how much you've played Resident Evil 3. But
I have it. I don't remember how far I got though. I may have beaten it.
Well, I don't know if you remember the dialogue when Jill is talking about this is my last escape and whatnot, and she has all that dialogue in there. And
I definitely don't remember the dialogue now.
okay. Well, I was reading that particular dialogue, and I'm just all I could do was picture it in Jill's voice, and I'm like thinking, "Wow, this really sounds dumb when you think about it." You know, even though she says it out loud and whatnot, and just like she always says,
it still sounds dumb.
Yeah, and she was always
Didn't
saying,
know quite how dumb until I read it myself.
yeah. And the fact that she's always saying "last escape" on that, and I was like, I get it. That's the Japanese name. I don't need to hear it every 5 minutes. You know,
this is my last escape. Like that game that I'm in. The game that I'm in right now.
Yeah, this is
It's just like this.
It's like, can you imagine if they translated that literally with the Resident Evil 3? This is my nemesis.
My nemesis.
It's getting late. Anyway, I have no idea how I started off on Resident Evil, but because of Nintendo 64.
Well, we've been talking about Nintendo.
Yeah, I think they were, even though GameCube didn't sell as well, I feel that they were starting to get back on track with what they were doing.
Definitely.
And then the Wii happened. And I'm not going to sit here and knock it saying it's a terrible system, because it has its good games on there, but man,
it's not.
They let that success.
It changed the landscape of games. Mm-hmm. If there wasn't a Wii, there would be no Move, no Eye, no Connect.
Right.
None of that stuff. That all came about because of the Wii.
Exactly.
So even I think this push for VR again, I think a lot of that came from the Wii and people still having this desire to kind of have a bit more one-on-one interaction with the games rather than just pushing on buttons.
I have no...
Which I feel it's still a novelty. It's one of those things that people really want to do until they've done it enough and then they're sick of it.
Yeah,
But they still want to do it. It's just like 3D in movies. Like, we keep coming back to 3D because every once in a while, like, we want to see 3D movies again. And then eventually we get sick of it and it goes away. And then it's going to come back again in some other form. And I think VR is kind of the same thing.
I have yet to see a Kermit movie in 3D just because all I can think about when I think about 3D is freaking Captain EO. Okay.
Is there anything else to think about?
I remember the things coming at you, and that was pretty impressive and whatnot, but the fact that my eyes, even watching that which was a 20-minute short movie, my eyes would just get all wonky watching that. I'd have to take it off and look at the blur and all that, and then put them back on. I was like, oh, they're in front of me again. Okay. So
It's just another part of me.
Exactly. So
We're here to change the world, Maverick.
Yeah. I wonder why they didn't put that song on the Bad album. I actually prefer that over another part of me. So
I don't know. Maybe it's licensed.
You douche. I remember when you recorded that CD for me and you left out that song and you're like, why'd you leave it out? You're like, because I hate the way he says, you're just another part of me. You're like, that's the only reason. I'm like, I like the song.
Oh, that's funny. I actually like that song now.
I never even I didn't even realize that song came from Captain EO. So yeah, like because I found the movie on YouTube a few years ago, and I was with my now ex-girlfriend. She's a big Michael Jackson fan, but she had never seen Captain EO because I don't think she had been to Disneyland, at least, or she hadn't been there when they were showing it. So I showed it to her, and then they play that song at the end, and I'm just like, wow, that came from this? So I was like, I thought it was just another song on the Bad album.
I think it was both. I think he had originally recorded it for Bad, but then he allowed them to use it in Captain EO as well.
Right. But they didn't put the other song on, which upset me.
Well, I think that song was specifically written for Captain EO.
Right.
That's probably why it's hard to get now.
Yeah.
I have the audio for Captain EO, but it doesn't sound very good.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it keeps that echo that they put, that like that echoey filter. Mm-hmm. And so that's through the whole thing. And so it sounds like you're sitting in a movie theater. It sounds clear. Like, it doesn't sound like somebody sat there and recorded, because you don't hear an audience.
Right.
But it keeps that echoey filter to make it sound like you're sitting in a theater. So it doesn't sound that great, but I don't know if you want that.
Yeah, no. I just I just remember I enjoyed watching it too. I mean, it's definitely dated, you know.
It is. But I'm really sad that I missed when they re-released it.
Yeah, it's just I don't know. Speaking of re-releases, we're totally going off topic here. One thing that
we should make a podcast about this.
Yeah, we should, huh? Yeah,
just going off topic.
Going off topic from a tangent. You know, about a year ago, was it last year that was 30th anniversary of Ghostbusters? Or was it the year before?
Is it this year?
Was it last year or the year before? I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure it's this year. This is the whole point of doing the remake, isn't it?
Well, no, because they actually had Ghostbusters in the theaters for like a limited time.
Oh, you're right. I remember that.
And I only found out about it like a few days after, and I wanted to take my son to see it because he just recently became a Ghostbusters fan. Mm-hmm. And it was something I didn't get to do. And
yeah,
I was just like
taking the kids.
Damn it! All these I don't want to say reissues, but these limited runs on old movies would have been nice because I experienced to share with my son that I used to do when I was a kid. You know, when I was his age. And plus, I never saw Ghostbusters in the theater. So
I don't think I did either.
No, I think you had seen it, but I remember when what's it called? My brother showed it to us, and we were.
See, that's what I remember. I remember being at your place and him bringing the tape over.
Yeah, tape.
I don't know if I'd seen it before that.
I just remember he kept asking that. He's the one who taught me not to about spoilers, because I kept asking, "What's gonna happen next? What's gonna happen next?"
Oh, that's my kids right now.
Yeah.
Why did he do that? Why did he jump out of the car? Why is he falling down that way? Why is his jacket black? Why is this? Why is that? Let's just watch the movie, man. He'll explain most of that stuff if you just stop asking and watch.
Right. So, I don't know. But, getting back to, jeez, how did we even get to Captain EO? Jesus Christ.
3D.
3D. Okay. VR. Okay.
There's a way we could trace back our tangents.
Yeah, there we go.
Totally possible. We can trace them back.
What led to what?
Tracing back your tangents. Getting back on track.
The VR. I think the only one that's really impressive right now is Microsoft. And
yes.
I kind of regret showing this to my son because he wants this now.
Of course.
Their VR headset. Because
sure, son,
it comes with these.
Fork over the $700 and
right,
it's all yours.
I'm like, he's like, Dad, when does that thing come out? And I'm like, oh, we're not getting that. He's like, why? He's like, because I want to send you to college. You know, just like he's so excited because it's neat. It's neat. You can like put. I don't know if you saw the demo for it, but they basically set the world of Minecraft on a table.
Yeah.
You know,
I saw it.
Yeah, and he he's really into Minecraft right now, and so
right,
he really wants that. And I'm just like, yeah, no, but yeah, it's like you're right. It's gonna be like a novelty because I can't see myself sitting there for hours with a helmet strapped to my head. You know.
Mm-mm. Nope, it's just one of those weird novelties that keeps coming and going and coming and going.
Well, people keep trying.
I think it'll forever do that. I think
people keep trying to bring it back. You know, it's like if anything, I see maybe a hologram system coming up again. Not like a Mad Dog McCreary. Well, no, that wasn't. Okay, what was that one?
the time jump, whatever that. This time traveling cowboy.
Yeah,
yeah.
I see something. Well, I see something more like that making a comeback, but not like live action. You know, it'd be CG or whatnot.
Right, of course.
I see that happening, taking off before, virtual reality headsets.
Well, that's basically what the HoloLens is supposed to be, right?
I would say
It's glasses to put that anywhere.
right.
Right.
I see, and I could see that making more sense because what you call it, the other game, they're impressive. Don't get me wrong. They've definitely come a long way. It's just, I could see that being so disorienting. Have you seen those compilation videos of people like passing out after playing?
No.
After playing something like that for hours or minutes, excuse me.
No. I have no desire to play VR. I'd experience it once just to be like, oh, okay, so that is what it's like. I don't want one.
Right.
At all.
I'll do it. I'll do it if they put Five Nights at Freddy's on there.
That would be cool.
Yeah.
That'd be really cool.
I could see that working, but
fall out of your chair. I would like to try the HoloLens more so than any of the other ones. I agree with you.
Yeah.
An Oculus Rift or anything like that. For a first-person shooter, I'm sure it could be kind of interesting.
Right.
Portal would probably make you want to vomit.
Yeah.
But it's not going to work for everything, and so
exactly,
it's still going to be very limited in the games you can play. You're not going to play a fighting game with freaking either a HoloLens or.
Well, I could see that going on wrong. Can you imagine 2-player mode with?
Right? You're just punching each other in the face. Yeah.
It's like, dude, you broke my VR goggles.
Assuming you make it that far, because most of us are so out of shape that we're going to get tired after, trying to wildly flinging our arms and legs around, trying to act like we're martial artists.
Right. I don't see it working out.
Which that in itself, I think, is a whole other topic for another episode. It's just that desire for actual physical interaction with our games, and why it's never going to work.
Yeah, I think right now, gaming, everyone wants to take gaming to the next level, but look at Virtual Boy.
Yeah.
What a success.
Or don't look at it, actually, because it's pretty bad for you.
Yeah. I think AVGN, once again, that's name drop, but he pointed it out best. It's like, oh, okay, some of these games are good, but why do they need to be on this system?
Right.
What's the point?
What was the point? I don't think Nintendo ever asked themselves that. What's the point of this thing?
Right. So I'm quite glad Nintendo hasn't announced anything. Yeah, I really hope that their NX doesn't have it's gonna come with this virtual reality helmet. Then I'll be done. I'll be like, no, that's it.
That'll be one of the components you have to put into it.
Yeah, I'd be like, good night, everybody. We're done.
But I'm excited for E3. I definitely want to see what they're gonna announce, whether it's gonna be cringeworthy, chuckle-worthy, or otherwise.
Oh yeah, I'd like to see just anybody really. I want to see what there is, because there's really nothing I'm looking forward to this year. Or if there is, I'm not thinking of it right now.
Yeah, I can't really think ahead of anything else. Is it for Nintendo in general, or just in
just gaming in general?
Yeah, no, I don't think I have much on my list right now.
Yeah, it's. Yeah. I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
It's like there was a lot of stuff that was announced last year, though.
Right.
So. Shenmue 3, obviously.
The one thing I'm hoping is that they announce a Kingdom Hearts 3 release date.
Oh, that too. Yeah. So mostly games that we haven't seen much footage of is basically what I'm excited for.
Right. Exactly. I want to play this new Hitman game. It sounds...
But...
Huh?
But
it's digital release first. It's eventually going to have a physical copy, and... That's another topic for another day is digital releases, because it's like I've been hearing these arguments recently. I don't know if you listen to Review Tech USA, but he just made a commentary on what.
Not often.
Huh?
Not often.
He just made
I've seen some of his videos, but not often.
Yeah, he made a commentary recently on how maybe Microsoft had the right idea, and I respectfully disagree, because We definitely have to get into another topic with this another time, but I'm just going to drop this example right here of why I've downloaded digital games before, and I'm not going to stop, but I have an option between physical copy and digital copy. I'm going to choose physical copy.
Yeah.
Here's my issue, and this is actually an example of why Xbox One's the plans for the original Xbox One wouldn't have been a good idea. Okay? One of the games I downloaded on PlayStation 3 is the Final Fight Double Impact, which has Final Fight and Magic Sword on it.
Right.
What is that technology called? DRM? The technology where you have to be online and all that?
Yeah, the copyright stuff.
Yeah. That game has that on there. Okay?
For your old school side scroller beat 'em ups, huh?
Exactly. And I'm just
make sure you're not copying those.
And I'm like, okay, why is this on here? Well, I wanted to play the game one day. I couldn't play it because I wasn't online.
Oh, you bad boy. You always have to be on the internet at all times.
Yeah, and I'm like, if Microsoft had gone that direction, they would have been screwed altogether. Well,
that's how the reason why they want you to be like that all the time is because the Capcom servers are working so hard to generate the massive graphical fidelity of all those games that your own system couldn't handle.
Right.
And I'm making fun of SimCity. Never mind.
Yeah, I just and then look at this. If you have a PSP right now, I don't know how it works out because I haven't tested.
Not on me. It's upstairs, but
okay. Well, I don't know how because I haven't had a chance to try this because I don't have a PSP anymore. But apparently, you can no longer download games to your PSP if you have digital copies.
Oh, maybe.
Yeah.
Although they still advertise that they sell them on the PlayStation Store.
Yeah. Because you can still buy them for the Vita.
Oh,
they'll still work for the Vita. They just stopped supporting the PSP altogether.
Oh, I mean, I'm not surprised.
Right. And now while we're on this topic really quick, I'm just going to say Vita TV. Excuse me. Vita TV. Good idea. I think it's an excellent concept. Poorly executed. Poorly executed. Their Netflix feature doesn't even freaking work. Which is supposed to be fixed about a week after its release. That was almost a year and a half ago. And then some of the games won't work on the system. One of the games I wanted to play on it was Dracula X Chronicles. Apparently they have to get permission from Konami before they can do that, and we all know how that's going to work out because
one of those.
I'm still waiting for that to happen.
Welcome to the Konami podcast.
Right. So I don't know. Let me just.
Well, we'll see. Time keeps on clicking. We'll see what happens. E3, NX. I'm excited. We'll podcast about it. I'm going to watch all the press events, which are slowly disappearing.
When is E3 this year? I don't even...
It's usually in June, right?
They're usually in June, but I mean, do you have a specific date for it?
I don't have the dates on me, and since my internet's still down, I can't look it up real quick.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You're on the phone.
Oh, that's supposed to get fixed right now, but I'm still seeing my service light out, so I don't know. I suppose they told me it was going to be fixed at midnight, but I don't see anything changing. Anyways,
excuse me.
That sound means that we've reached the end of yet another episode of the Gaming Tangents podcast. If you'd like to continue this topic going forward, you can leave a comment on any site that you find us on, especially if you listen on SoundCloud. That works really well for comments. If you're listening to us on YouTube, leave comments down below. Or you can always, of course, reach us directly on the Twitter, and I don't mean to DM, but just tweet at us at CrossPlat Show. No direct messages, please. And you can also join our Facebook group as well, cross-platform. Or you can email comments, show suggestions, or anything else over to us at crossplatformshow@gmail.com. And I think I've covered all of our bases.
I believe so.
All right. The show keeps on trucking. Cross-platform is coming to you very soon. Holla back at us on the Twitter. We'd love to talk to you. So anyways, until next time, I'm slowly dying and out of quarters.
And I'm still without any kind of witty outro.
Very good. All right. We'll see you all next week.
All right, see you then. Da 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 da.